A very good evening. You're watching the NewsHour special edition this Sunday evening with me, Kritsween Walia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just 72 hours before the first vote is cast in Gujarat, the battle in the poll-bound state. In an unsparing attack, Prime Minister slammed terror sympathizers, saying that when terrorism was at its peak during the Congress rule and the party targeted him instead of terrorists because of vote bank politics. Without mincing any words, Prime Minister said Congress considers terrorism as its vote bank, adding that several other parties, including in appeasement politics, also, several of these parties have come out with terror-sympathizing statements. He cited how Congress netas were crestfallen after the Batla House encounter, and some even wept for the eliminated terrorists. First up, let's listen in to the scathing attack by the Prime Minister.
दिल्ली में जब बाटला हाउस एनकाउंटर हुआ तो कांग्रेस के नेता आतंकियों के समर्थन में रोने लगे, रोने। कांग्रेस आतंकवाद को भी वोट बैंक की नजर से देखती है, तुष्टीकरण की दृष्टि से देखती है। और सिर्फ कांग्रेस ही नहीं है, अब तो ऐसी भांति भांति के दल पैदा हुए हैं। ये दल भी शॉर्टकट की राजनीति में यकीन करते हैं। उनको तो सत्ता की भूख भी जरा तेज है। वो वोट बैंक की राजनीति करने पर उतारू है। अपीजमेंट, तुष्टीकरण के पॉलिटिक्स में इंटरेस्टेड है। साथियों, 2014 में आपके एक वोट ने, आपके वोट की ताकत देखिए, आपके एक वोट ने आतंकवाद को कुचलने में हमारी बहुत मदद की है। भारत के शहरों में तो छोड़िए, अब सीमा पर भी आतंक फैलाने से पहले आतंकियों के आकाओं को 100 बार सोचना पड़ता है। लेकिन कांग्रेस हो या वोट बैंक के भूखे कुछ दल, ये लोग सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक पर भी सवाल उठाते हैं। हमारा गुजरात भी लंबे समय तक आतंक के निशाने पर रहा है। सूरत हो, अहमदाबाद हो, इन शहरों में सीरियल बम धमाकों में बहुत से गुजरात के मेरे भाई बहन मारे गए थे। कुछ महीने पहले अहमदाबाद कोर्ट ने इन गुनहगारों को गंभीर सजा दी है। दिल्ली में बैठी कांग्रेस सरकार आतंकियों को छुड़ाने में अपनी पूरी ताकत लगा देती थी। हम कहते रहे कि आतंक को टारगेट करो, लेकिन कांग्रेस की सरकार आतंक को नहीं, मोदी को टारगेट करने में लगी रही।
And ever since the Prime Minister made this unsparing comment, several political reactions have been pouring in. The BJP echoed Prime Minister Modi, while the Congress deflected, asking Prime Minister to speak on key issues instead, urged the Prime Minister to stop diverting the attention of the nation.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने उन पार्टियों का पर्दाफाश किया है जिन्होंने राष्ट्र नीति और आतंकवाद पर भी वोट बैंक की राजनीति की है। हमें याद है कि किस प्रकार से जब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी तब बाटला हाउस एनकाउंटर हुआ तो मोहनचंद शर्मा जी की शहादत पर नहीं, आतंकियों के मरने पर सोनिया गांधी फूट फूट कर रोई थी। और केवल कांग्रेस ही नहीं बल्कि आम आदमी पार्टी ने भी बाटला हाउस एनकाउंटर पर सवाल उठाए थे। अरविंद केजरीवाल ने ये सवाल उठाए थे और मोहनचंद शर्मा जी की शहादत पर सवाल उठाए गए थे। ये दल राष्ट्र हित से, राष्ट्र सुरक्षा से और आतंकवाद की लड़ाई से समझौता करना चाहते थे ताकि वोट बैंक की राजनीति ऊपर की जा सके और राष्ट्र नीति को नीचे किया जा सके।
PM Modi always diverts the attention. Now, in midst of elections in Gujarat, he is talking about the things which are absolutely false, be it Batla encounter or explosion in Surat and Ahmedabad. And of course, the whole world knows is that after removal of 370 terrorism will come to an end. Did it come? Never. Rather, it has increased. And at the time of 2011, Mr. Modi gave the statement, rather criticized at that time the government. In a way, he helped Pakistan. That was not the time to get divided. It was the time to get united.
Well, citing what it calls the opposition's pro-terror rap sheet, the BJP has reminded its rivals how they have in the past doubted the Batla House encounter. In fact, rabble-rouser Tauqi Raza, who has a soft corner for the Congress, remember, had termed Batla House terrorists as martyrs. Top Congress leader Salman Khurshid, for that matter, had claimed on record that Sonia Gandhi wept after she was showed the image of bullet-riddled bodies of terrorists. Digvijay Singh, for example, also called the encounter fake, and Mamata Banerjee called the encounter fake too, demanding a judicial probe into the matter. That's not it. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also ordered a judicial probe into the encounter, saying it needs to be established why the terrorists were killed. Can then there be a denial, viewers, about some in the opposition appeasing terror, or as the BJP puts it, prioritizing vote bank rajniti over terror and Rashtra-niti? So let's open this up. This evening we have our guest joining us on the NewsHour special edition, spokesperson of the BJP, Mr. R.P. Singh. Also with us is senior editor Swarajya, Tushar Gupta. Apart from that, we have Kapil Madan, political analyst, and political analyst himself, Goerge Kurim. But my first question is to you, Mr. Kamruzzam Chowdhury, leader of the Congress party. And I start by talking about what the Prime Minister said. This evening, he says, while addressing a rally in Kheda in Gujarat, slamming the opposition parties for going soft on terrorists, he says, Gujarat had for a long time been a target of terrorism. People of Gujarat were killed in explosions in Surat and Ahmedabad. Congress was at the center then. That the BJP asked them to target terrorism, but they instead targeted Prime Minister. Terrorism was at its peak in the country. Those are his words. How does the Congress respond to it? We've heard it from Mr. Udit Raj. What's your response, sir?
Yeah, Kishin, first of all, you must understand that whenever the Bharatiya Janata Party is pushed against a wall, it will rake up such issues like it did in 2019. It brought up the Pulwama episode and tried to rake up emotive issues on nationalism and try to rake the mullah in the elections. The same thing they are doing out here, a dead flog, a Batla House encounter, whatever may be the issues and incidents leading up to the encounter. I'm not going into that because the court has already declared its verdict and the culprits are behind bars. Now the point out here is that yesterday itself Amit Shah, the Home Minister of our country, of our secular country, raked up the 2002 genocide of Muslims in Gujarat. Now today the Prime Minister is raking up the Batla House encounter. What do these people from the Bharatiya Janata Party want to achieve in the first place? You bring in pseudo-nationalism along with your Hindutva agenda and try to rake in the mullah. Now who is doing majority appeasement out here? It's not the Congress party. We have of course reacted to some episodes which only you news channels have showed. That the Batla House was might have been a fake encounter. But once the court pronounced its verdict and the culprits were arrested, we stopped out here and we condemned the incidents that any terrorism must have to do with the country. But then you bring up such emotive issues, you bring up pseudo-nationalism, you bring up your fundamental ideals of Hindutva, link them with the pseudo-nationalism and try and say that, okay, look, Hindus khatre mein hai. Now this is not to be done in a democratically secular country like India. You need to respect each and every people's, every religious sentiments out here. You just can't bring a Gujarat genocide issue and say that देखो मियाँ लोग को हम लोग तो सबक सिखा दिया, मुल्लों को तो हम सबक सिखा दिया. Now bring up the Batla House encounter.
No, we will in fact bring up the Batla House encounter, Mr. Chowdhury. We'll talk about what Tawqir Raza said, what Salman Khurshid said, what the likes of Digvijay Singh said. We will bring that up, but Mr. R.P. Singh doesn't quite agree to what you're saying. Mr. R.P. Singh, the Congress is saying as to why is it that the nationalistic card is often played by the BJP ahead of state assembly elections? Why are they doing it to take on opposition parties today?
Well, do you think law and order is an issue or not in assembly elections? And whether law and order should be maintained in states or not? Whether law and order should be tackled properly or not? When Amit Shah ji speaks about that there has been no riot after 2002, that shows that law and order is in control. I remember every 6 months there used to be riots in Ahmedabad when Congress was in power. But after 2002 there was no riots. But gentleman talks about genocide. When there were people being killed from both the sides, both the communities, some 250 Hindus were killed and some 750 odd Muslims were killed. I mean, it's very sad. But it was a riot. But no riot happened thereafter because things were put in control there when the government has taken charge. One. Secondly, on Batla House, we all know Salman Khurshid is on record. There are videos on record where he said that tears kept rolling on cheeks of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi because the young guys died there, but not about Mohan Chand Sharma. What about Mohan Chand Sharma? I still remember that Mr. Digvijay Singh used to say, Zakir Naik Sahab, Zakir Naik peace ka doot hai, he is the ambassador of peace. That was Mr. Digvijay Singh's statement. And they took money from Zakir Naik's foundation also. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation took some 50 lakh odd rupees from Zakir Naik Foundation.
Okay.
This on record. This all are documented things which I am speaking about.
Okay.
But this
so it's much beyond. It's much beyond Sardar R.P. Singh, the Batla House encounter. That's what you're trying to say. And let's take it beyond the Batla House encounter. Let's forget what Salman Khurshid or Digvijay Singh had said for that matter. Mr. Kapil Madan, let's put some other facts and, really try and understand what is it that the Congress has done in the past and why is it that the BJP today is calling it appeasement. In 2006, the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh met with the JKLF leader Yasin Malik, who was found to be convicted on terror charges. September 2016, for example, it was revealed that Zakir Naik's Islamic Research Foundation had allegedly made a donation of 50 lakh rupees to Sonia Gandhi-led Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. So can the Congress today outrightly reject these facts? Mr. Chowdhury didn't want to focus much on the Batla House encounter. What about other instances?
Now, I think I should start by saying very unequivocally that the BJP signifies and is the epitome of contradiction. And let me give you an example why. Now, all throughout they had been opposing the ideology of the PDP, but taking the benefit of the opportunity, they formed the government with the PDP, which they have been opposing ideologically. Now, insofar as your allegation for meeting with the separatist leader, you please go and Google. You will see Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's photos with all the separatist leaders. And in fact, it was Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji who brought a new initiative that was called Kashmiriyat Insaniyat Jumhuriyat, and a drive was initiated to bring all the separatists into the mainstream. That's point number one. Now let me respond to Mr. R.P. Singh. What Mr. R.P. Singh? Mr. R.P. Singh will come on the channel and will spread lies. Now Mr. R.P. Singh mentioned about Batla House. I am challenging R.P. Singh here. You please show the photographs of Mr. Sonia Gandhi where she is crying, seeing the photograph. You want to misquote a statement given by Salman Khurshid.
But he's quoting a Congress leader.
No,
Mr. Kapil Madan, he's not making this up.
Madam, please control your anxiety. Let me respond. I'm coming to Mr.
I'm not anxious. I'm just stating facts
no,
here.
Then please.
So if you're responding to Mr. R.P. Singh, then you also need to have your facts right, sir.
Then don't give a cover fire to Mr. R.P. Singh.
Of course not. That's not my responsibility or my job here.
So please wait. Allow me to make my point.
Yes, let's stick to facts.
Allow me to make my point. Mr. Salman Khurshid also made a clarification, and I will give you that report wherein Mr. Salman Khurshid has clarified how he was misquoted He clarified when no one would like to see photographs of dead bodies thrashed here and there. And if someone does not want to see those photographs, you want to misquote and say it is an appeasement politics, while shamelessly you will celebrate the release of Bilkis Banu's victims. Now I'm asking Mr. R.P. Singh here, what is the BJP stand here insofar as the release of Bilkis Banu's rapists were concerned? Their supporters were shamelessly garlanding that, those accused person who were convicted by the highest court. And they want to shamelessly talk about appeasement. It is not an appeasement what they're doing in Gujarat. They should hang their heads in shame while they talk about appeasement.
Okay, so why not walk the talk? Why not set an example for instance in the Bilkis Bano case? Tushar Gupta, would you want to respond to that before I go across to Sardar R.P. Singh?
It's been my simple question. I was listening to Mr. Chowdhury and he says that the BJP plays the nationalist card every time there is an election. My simple response to that is, why can't the Congress play the nationalist card also? Every election they complain that the BJP is using the trump card of nationalism. What's stopping the Congress from doing so? He says that when the verdict in the Batla House encounter was reached, the Congress stopped casting doubts on the investigation. My answer to that is, why couldn't they wait until the court announced its verdict before casting the doubts on the Batla House encounter, thus insulting all our police forces? They say that the BJP is pushed against the wall in Gujarat. Between anyone on the ground would know, be it the Congress or the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party worker, that the Congress is on the verge of being wiped out in Gujarat. They're not even putting up a fight. Rahul Gandhi is on a Bharat Jodo Yatra. He's in Rajasthan now, but he's conveniently skipping Gujarat, where the election is held. So let's not talk about BJP being pushed against the wall. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, people remember what the UPA era and somewhat what the early 2000s were all about, irrespective of whoever the government was. They were routine terrorist attacks from 2008 to 2007, 2003. A lot of terrorist attacks happened across the 2000s, irrespective of the government. And people remember that. But what people remember most importantly, and very sadly, is the lack of response from the government to 2008. The UPA one, that's how they responded to 2008. And when people look at Pulwama, which Mr. Chowdhury was very cleverly mentioning that the BJP ushered the Pulwama episode. No, sir, it was a terrorist attack. Let's remember it such. The people remember the response of the NDA government. The UPA is free to play the nationalist card. No one is stopping Rahul Gandhi or Mr. Chowdhury from playing the nationalist card. Tell the people what you have done in the name of nationalism.
Okay, Mr. Kurim, since you've not come in so far, Mr. Chowdhury, Kapil Madan, hold on. Let Goerge Kurim come in since he's not opened up with his thoughts. Let's quickly talk about whether or not today the Congress is in a position to play the nationalistic card, and that question is being asked by the BJP because there are instances in the past where the opposition parties have questioned the BJP-led government about the surgical strikes conducted against terror threats in Pakistan. Talk about Uri attack. After the Uri attack in 2016, it was Congress leader Sanjay Nirupam who termed the surgical strike as a fake one. Talk about Sam Pitroda. What did he do? He was no less than, for example, Mr. Sanjay Nirupam, because he too questioned the strikes. Don't you think that the opposition parties must have shown unity in trusting government's action? Because you're questioning your forces, Mr. Goerge Kurim, in questioning the BJP with regards to terror strikes, retaliatory strikes, you're questioning the forces.
Well, Crispin, I'll come back to your question. The Prime Minister today making such a statement, irresponsible statement at a poll-bound state in Gujarat in a rally public meeting has nothing but, am I audible?
Yes, we can very well hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So the Prime Minister is just trying to garner the sympathy of the people. He very well knows that, BJP in the last 27 years in Gujarat has done no development as such that they can bank on. And the nation has seen the Morbi incident where the rusted wire ropes has proven what the BJP is up to in Gujarat. Congress, on the other hand, is confident about with its progressive manifesto in the state. We all agree that Aam Aadmi Party is there. It's a triangular fight. Having said that, the BJP and the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, needs to understand that, taking support from surgical strikes and making such statements on national television, he will try to garner some sympathy, no doubt. But, what has the BJP government done about the Chinese intrusion in the border areas? Has the government done anything about it? The rape and violence is on a rise. FDI is at the lowest. We know that religious tensions are increasing. Kashmir issue is not good. There are many factors. BJP today has no ground to play on, so that's the reason they're trying to bring in national agenda in a state level assembly election situation like this. So Mr. Prime Minister Modi has made it very clear that they don't have any room for ground or any issues that they can really fight this election. So they're trying to rope in national agenda. If the Prime Minister is so confident, he has the state machinery, he's at the center, he can open up the Batla encounter issue and continue on with the probe.
Okay, Mr. R.P. Singh, would you want to come in? Because lots of questions being asked of the BJP, including by Kapil Madan, says walk the talk. Set an example, take some concrete action in the Bilkis Bano case, and thereafter you can perhaps raise questions with regards to appeasement at the Congress party.
Well, issue is of the law and order in the state, and I'm sorry, Mr. Kurim is not aware of the subject. He is shooting from the hip. I mean, he is not clear about the subject. Secondly, again, I repeat, it was 26 level yesterday. The then Air Chief asked the Manmohan Singh that we are prepared to do a surgical strike. Fali Homi Major, if I rightly remember the name. He was said, no, don't think of anything of this sort. And when the army or the air force do now the surgical strikes, they question. They say, oh, this is Farji strike. Some birds have been killed. This is the state of a congressman. And also, what do? They go and kneel in front of Nawaz Sharif. Oh, you help us to uproot Modi in center in India. It was Mani Shankar Iyer and Salman Khurshid both.
Exactly.
So they will go to any extent. I remember Rahul Gandhi met the American ambassador and said, Hindu terror is a bigger threat.
Can I come in, Ms. Walia?
Only to appease Muslim votes. They will support terrorism. They will support terror activities. They say Osama ji, Zakir Sahib. Only to garner
much noise is also being made. Mr. R.P. Singh, much noise is also being made by the Congress party, saying that there were a lot of promises that the BJP made with regards to abrogation of Article 370 and how terrorism in the valley would come down. And,
I'll answer that.
And
I'll answer those.
To that, I'm going to also, before you come in, allow me to put some data in front of you. In October, on October 18, 2022, there was an RTI reply. RTI filed by a Pune-based businessman from MHA. The RTI in its reply said that from 2004 to 2013, which is, we're talking about the UPA rule, 9,321 terror strikes took place. 4,005 militants were killed. Whereas from 2014 to August 2022, which is the NDA rule we're talking about under Prime Minister's rule, Prime Minister Modi's regime, 2,132 terror attacks took place, 1,538 terrorists were killed. So what would you say then, Mr. Kapil Madan, to these figures? 1/4. It has come down by 1/4. The terror incidents, terror activities.
Not only that. Sorry, can I intervene? No, please.
Can I now respond?
After even 2019, you were talking about 370. Tell me one instance of stone pelting. Tell me one instance of stone pelting after 2019.
Mr.
Sir, just hold on, sir. Every Friday there used to be a register, the monthly calendar, which will say, okay, this day there will be band, this will be open, this will be band and open, and these shops will open, these shops will close. And then every Friday there used to be ISI flag being hoisted. And hame kya chahiye, Azadi used to be chanted. Although Mr. Rahul Gandhi has supported hame kya chahiye Azadi. And one of the chanters of the hame kya chahiye Azadi is part of the Bharat Jodo Yatra now.
Mr. Singh, I think my name was Kapil Madan. I understand it's late in the night and people have, some, whatever. So allow me to now, make my point here. Now you mentioned about
language, gentlemen.
Kapil Madan, no personal remarks. No personal remarks. Stick to the facts. A pointed question. I cited an RTI reply. Mr. R.P. Singh has asked the Congress's position today. No personal remarks, Kapil Madan.
What is wrong in that? What is wrong in that? I said, Please behave. Please behave
हमारा
like
राहुल
a
गांधी ऐसी करने
spokesperson.
जाता है,
Please listen.
बदतमीज आदमी कहीं के.
If you want to rant like this,
Kapil Madan, no crossing lines.
if you
No, that was absolutely uncalled for. That was absolutely uncalled for. Sardar R.P. Singh, that's been called out. Let him respond.
Because I was asked to answer the questions.
So I said it was my name. What did I say? Are you listening?
Okay,
Rahul Gandhi
Kapil
कहाँ जाते हैं?
Madan.
ऐसी करने ये बताओ पहले. Where do Rahul Gandhi
Every
goes?
time you will talk about Rahul Gandhi, you will not talk the subject, but you will talk Rahul Gandhi because you don't have anything to say. You will keep spreading
अरे
the lies.
कहाँ जाता है राहुल गांधी ऐसी करने के लिए? ये बताओ. मुझे पूछ रहे हो कि देर होगी.
Sardar R.P. Singh,
आप कहाँ जाते हो पहले ये बताओ.
gentlemen, let's not digress the debate. Hold on. Don't force me to lower down your faders, everyone. Sir, let's listen into what Kapil Madan is saying. Hold on. Sardar R.P. Singh.
Now he does not want to talk.
Let's hold a debate in a very civilized manner. Gentlemen, please. Kapil Madan, no personal remarks. Please make your point.
No. Now, Mr. Singh, now please, Mr. Singh, please listen. Now, Mr. Singh talked about law and order. Mr. Singh talked about law and order. There is a report that says there have been 3,400 incidents of riots. It is a published data. I will share the data to a fact check with me. Now, please keep quiet. Please keep quiet. Don't shout. Mr. Singh, don't shout. Please keep quiet. Now, second. अरे शोर मत बचाओ. सुन लो. Mr. Singh, सुन लो. शोर मचाने से झूठ सच नहीं होता. शोर मचाने से झूठ सच नहीं होता. सुन लो.
की किताब में लिखा हुआ है. ये जीपीएस सिद्धू की किताब में लिखा है. तुमसे बड़ा कोई टेररिस्ट नहीं है. तुम खुद टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व रहे हो. तुम
कानों का इस्तेमाल करो डिबेट में. कान और जबान दोनों का इस्तेमाल.
Gentlemen, I'm not going to allow this. Let's not make personal remarks. Sardar R.P. Singh, hold on, sir. Let him respond. You can come in, sir, thereafter. Let him respond. And Kapil Madan, I'm not going to take or tolerate any personal remarks, please.
I am not made a personal
pointed rebuttal. Let's stick to the facts. That's all.
I understand.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, he talked about law and order. There had been 3,400 incidents of riots since 2016 till 2020. We saw riots right under the nose of the government in 2020 when Trump was here. We had examples where their sitting offices bearers were found connected with LET and their person was arrested in Srinagar. They don't have any answer to that. They won't talk about that. In Udaipur killing also, we saw the accused having, a scene getting photographed with BJP ministers, and they want to now create a bogey. They want to create a refuge that, these guys intruded the BJP system. Now, you please don't talk about that. Now, you talk about Nawaz Sharif also. Who invited Nawaz Sharif in 2014 in the oath-taking ceremony of Mr. Modi? It was the Modi government. Who went uninvited to Pakistan to celebrate Nawaz Sharif's birthday? It was the Modi government. And then you want to talk about Nawaz Sharif, etc., etc. Let me also tell you something. Now you want to politicize the surgical debates. I want to tell you that there had been 6 surgical strikes during the UPA tenure, and I can give you the data. But unlike the present government, those government never used to politicize these matters of internal security. While you want to now laugh because you don't have anything to say substantially, you want to spread lies, you don't want to talk data, and that's what is the hallmark of the BJP.
Surgical strike after 26.
No, but Mr. Chowdhury,
the entire country was waiting
Mr. Chowdhury, has the Congress not been in denial of the surgical strikes?
Yeah.
Have they not raised questions on the impact of the surgical strikes? Can there be denial on that level? And that's exactly why the BJP gets ammunition each and every time to question the nationality of the Congress in that sense, that the Congress cannot be allowed to play politics on any sort of a national card because they've taken that away from themselves.
Congress party is committed to the integrity of the nation. Let me just remind you one small incident that happened between President Nixon of the United States and Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India.
Just a simple response to what I said. Can you deny what Sanjay Nirupan said, how he questioned the strikes?
It's not so simple.
Sir, it's
I am
very
not
simple.
a spokesperson of Sanjay Nirupan. I believe in whatever the official statement that is coming from the Congress party, We do not have, the Congress party does not work like this, madam.
So easy.
Now let me just cite you one example, a small example. It will take me just 10 seconds. When President Nixon was warning India and saying that 7 of our aircraft fleets are now presently directed towards Iran and they are over Pakistan, please do not force me to change their direction. Madam Gandhi then said to President Nixon, send your 8th fleet to India, but the Pakistan, that is East Pakistan at that time, has to be liberated, and the Iron Lady of India did not have to qualm, did not have to sulk like the Chinese. With the Chinese that PM Modi is doing, thousands of kilometers have been taken away by Chinese, but still then our PM Modi is still wearing the red jacket. You know, the point out here, today's debate that the Prime Minister had said in Gujarat, after 27 years of Gujarat rule, it is very unfortunate that the PM had to take up incidents that were indeed very black parts of our history to garner votes in Gujarat. That is the most unfortunate thing. That's why I said the BJP is a pseudo-nationalist party. The original national party is only the Indian National Congress.
Okay, all right. So despite Manmohan Singh meeting Yasin Malik, despite Salman Khurshid saying that Sonia Gandhi wept while she saw the photographs of Batla House encounter case, all of that sidelined, the BJP is a pseudo-nationalist party. I see Tushar coming in. Tushar, you've been raising your hand. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
You know, Krithvin, I agree with the previous speaker. The Congress is indeed a nationalist party. Probably that explains why they have an MOU signed with the Communist Party of China. Probably that explains why in 2013 their defense minister stood in the parliament and said that an underdeveloped border infrastructure is best because it avoids conflicts. Perhaps that is why Manish Shankar Iyer goes to Pakistan and says, "Inhe hataiye aur hame laiye." Perhaps that is why Digvijay Singh after 2011 said that ye Hinduon ki sajish hai, RSS ki sajish hai. Probably that is why Kapil Sibal before the 2019 elections asked the Supreme Court to delay the verdict on the Ram Mandir issue. Probably that explains the Congress's nationalism. That is what the Congress is all about. They love talking about the Chinese, but they won't talk once about the underdeveloped border infrastructure for the 10 years during their rule, which they proudly affirmed in the parliament in the last year of their rule. Let's talk about that first.
Okay, I see Mr. Chowdhury wanting to come in.
But Ms. Walia, let just, yeah, you know something, they can bring up all these issues that does not concern India, Indians' politics. But never in the history of 75 years of our history has a sitting Prime Minister of the country gone and campaigned in a foreign country in their elections for Trump. You know how low this BJP government can go, you just cannot imagine. Now what have you done in the external affairs? External affairs of the country. No, don't be a spokesperson of the BJP, please, out here. The fact remains, you went to America, you campaigned for an opposition politician. Now what harakiri did you do to the external affairs of our country? The policy of external affairs, what did you do? Over the years, we have built up a collective foreign external affairs, but you have destroyed this over the last 8 years. Do you understand what you have done to the cultural fabric of the country? Now when Rahul Gandhi is walking thousands of kilometers in Bharat Jodo, the Prime Minister, the Home Minister is talking about Bharat Todo.
To move the Bharat Jodo Yatra via Gujarat, if it was so important to the Congress party, then that's the least he could have offered to the Gujaratis ahead of elections, but he didn't think it important. Mr. Kurim, it's not just the BJP. It's not just the BJP. One second, hold on. I want to shift our focus to a very interesting fact here. In his book, 10 Flashpoints, 20 Year, written by Manish Tiwari, he too criticized UPA government for its response to, let's say, the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. Does the Congress on its part then accept that it was a grave mistake for not retaliating to the perpetrator of 26/11 attack? There are a host of instances, some that have come in from Congress leaders itself, some that have come in from the likes of Manish Tiwari, the others wherein they've doubted our surgical strikes, our retaliatory strikes. How does the BJP not use this as an ammunition today?
Well, Crispin, I would like to just make it clear to your audience that, you know, one can't ignore the fact that inflation is on the rise, and with fake nationalism, one can't cover up things. And the nation has seen the dead bodies floating in the Ganga. So that is the situation of the country post 2014, that BJP is not able to govern this country. And inflation, as I said, inflation is on the rise, and there is no development as such. So there's nothing else that the BJP at center or the state have to depend on such issues that have no relevance in today's time. One should talk about unemployment and inflation and things like that, which matters to the nation and to the youth of this country.
Okay, so that's one charge that is being levelled. Sardar RP Singh, I want you to come in because that one charge being levelled against the BJP. Hold on, Tushar, I'll come back to you. 1 second. Sardar RP Singh, 1 second, Tushar. Sardar RP Singh, is the BJP not politicizing national security concerns for its own political benefits? The Congress of an opinion today that the mudda, the main mudda in the country is not being spoken of. Time and again, the BJP is resorting to this nationalistic card to appease the majoritarian.
Well, I appreciate first allow Tushar to give a point. I mean, he wanted to make a point.
Sir, I'll go to Tushar, but
ahead, Tushar,
since you're representing the BJP, let's just quickly get away with that charge.
Tushar is also
probably Tushar wanted to tell you what's the inflation figure today and what's the inflation figure.
You know, Kritsveen, I'm
Okay.
sorry,
Go ahead,
I'm interrupting everyone.
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Tushar. You're very eager to make your point. Go ahead.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting everyone, but since the previous speaker spoke of inflation, let's all remember one simple fact check. In November 2013, inflation was peaking at 12.2%. After 2 years of pandemic and after a year and a half where the global economy is slowing down, our inflation figures haven't breached the 8% mark. So when the Congress wants to talk about inflation, November 2013, 12.2%, as clear as it gets. That's all.
Okay, all right, gentlemen, running out of time. We've heard from all the sides. The Prime Minister, once again, to remind our viewers, to put this in perspective, says Gujarat had for a long time been a target of terrorism. People of Gujarat were killed in explosions in Surat and Ahmedabad. Congress was at the center then. We asked them to target terrorism, but they instead targeted him. Terrorism was at its peak in the country. That's the Prime Minister making that charge against the Congress party. Remains to be seen how this plays out in the coming few days. Last few hours of campaigning before Gujaratis cast their first vote. We'll have to wrap it at that. Thank you for joining us on the special edition tonight.